Don, can we get the window bits done first? Anything more imminent, and how much more might there be? Have you any idea at all?
No, there's nothing happening right now. Kieran Phillips came in yesterday, which is a real positive. In terms of the rest of the month, we're always looking. We want to get better. We want to strengthen. We're a bit light right now in terms of the squad. We've had a few injuries recently. At the weekend we had 2 goalkeepers on the bench because we were light in terms of filling it. So yeah, always looking to improve, and that'll carry on.
What's been happening since Boxing Day? It's almost as if somebody threw a switch and the power came on.
Well, it's down to the players. Spoke about ending that long run away from home and what it could do by doing that. What was really pleasing about the Dundee game was the manner and the victory. I think we got to the stage, it didn't matter how we won away from home, but to do it so convincing has just given the group of players real belief, and they've just carried that on over the next 2 away games after it.
Yes, breaking that 15-month away hoodoo must have been just terribly important to you.
Yeah, it was huge because it went on far too long. We never shied away from it. We came together as the staff and the players. We've changed our formations slightly, especially away from home, and I think it's proving the right decision.
And a bit ironic that you should go from a 15-month void through to a club record 3 in a row.
I think that's just football in a nutshell, isn't it? It can change very quickly, and that's why it's my job and the way I am as a person that I don't get too high, too low, because I know how football can change very quickly, and it's just about doing the right things consistently, with the process, and eventually those results will come, and that's what's happened in a short period of time.
In terms of football changing very quickly, I suppose that's something you would need to be wary about with this coming weekend's game against Celtic.
Of course, it's been a good couple of weeks. The challenge now is to maintain it, continue it, and the challenge doesn't come any bigger than Celtic coming here on Saturday. But the boys are in a really good place, feeling confident, and they must have real belief going into it.
And given your recent record, this must be as good a time as any to be playing Celtic.
Well, I'm not sure about that, because they're a quality team. They've got quality all over the pitch. We showed here, a few months ago when we played them, we did really well in the game. But if you don't do that for the full 90-95 minutes and switch off, they'll punish you. So you have to be at your best.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
I was just wanting to go back to the recent away form, and particularly obviously a new club record's been set in the top flight with that. How does it feel to be, I know it's a team effort, but how does it feel to be in charge of the team when the team are making these milestones? Obviously you're keeping them up last season, your long association with the club as well.
Yeah, well, it's a nice thing to achieve. Like as you say, first time in the club's history. I think to do it so quickly on the back of the run that we were on away from home, not had much time to think about it in terms of how quickly the games have come, and that's been the real pleasing aspect. It's been a really intense period. I've spoke about we've been light numbers wise, but the way the group have just come together in this period, and it's something I speak about all the time, that has to be our identity, the togetherness of this football club, and it's came to the fore in the last couple of weeks.
You spoke about players coming together. Do you think it shows the togetherness of the players, being able to come back from obviously varied kind of spells to this obviously fantastic recent run of 4 games?
Yeah, and I know the characters that we've got. We recruit, we take a lot of time in terms of the process that goes into that, in terms of embracing the culture that we've got here. We're a unique football club in terms of where we are geographically, so when we have players, it sometimes takes a little bit longer for them to settle because it is different. But I think you're now seeing players that we recruited in the summer really in real good form right now, and it's about trying to maintain that. Just
on Ryan Leigh, obviously noticing he'll be out for a spell. How are you feeling about that?
Well, disappointed for any player that gets injured, and especially the one that Ryan's got. It's not a nice one, Achilles area. He gets operated on today, so we're all devastated for him. He's a big part of what we're trying to achieve. He's played a lot of games for this football club since he came 18 months ago. So now, you know, like I say, he gets operation today, then it's about us as a club, you know, rallying around him and, you know, making him feel good about himself again.
Yeah, and also this week, recently, bringing in the new signs with Nohan and Kieran. How are you feeling about both of them coming in?
Yeah, I was really keen to get Nohan back. You know, I was assistant manager when he was here the first spell. He's totally different to the other midfielders that we've got, a real physical presence in that area. He's chomping at the bit. You know, he had no football at Hibs this season, so he was really keen to come. And I think everyone can see the impact that he's had in the last 2 games. You know, 2 really difficult games away from home where you've got to dig deep and put your body on the line, and you know, he epitomised that in the last 2 games. So delighted with him. Kieran comes in yesterday. Different profile to the centre forwards that we've got right now. Comes here in the back of a really good loan spell in America. He's mobile, he's got pace, looking to run in behind, and I think he complements what we've got really well.
Do you think Kieran was maybe a bit of the missing link in there that you kind of needed to go into the second half of the season?
Well, you know, he was someone that we looked at in the summer. We've known all about him, but like I say, he was in America, so we just had to be patient. And obviously with Al Samuel getting a bad injury, we lose a body in the front line, so as soon as the window came, it was about getting someone in, and you know, Kieran was available, so we're delighted that he's here now.
Just on Celtic then, what are you expecting from them on Saturday?
Well, you've always got to expect the best version of them, and when it's the best version, they're the best team in the country easily, so we've got to be ready for that, but at the same time we've got to be ready if they're not at their best and try and take advantage of that, and you have to be at your best. You know, without the ball, the concentration levels have to be at a top level throughout the whole game, and then when you get those opportunities, you have to be clinical. And as I said previously, a couple of months ago when we played them, we showed that we've got a good understanding of how to play against them, but they've still got real quality and can hurt you at any time. So it's just about putting a complete performance together in order to get a result.
And based on what you were saying there, how much does it help things playing that at home as well?
We'd probably rather be away, all of us. We've been on our travels for the last 2 weeks. I think someone said to me that we racked up near 1,000 miles in that period, where I think Celtic racked up 10 or something. So it's nice to be at home. It's nice to get back into the routine. A Saturday game, get a full week's training under our belt and be prepared for a big game.
Obviously, several players of their team have been picked out, but Nicholas Cowie seems to be in the name that seems to come out more times more than often. I mean, what do you make of him, and how do you prepare for the threat that he might pose?
Well, I think he had a challenging season last year. I think he was unwell at a period, and it really disrupted him. He started this season incredibly well, and he's just maintained that throughout the season. He's probably been the player of the season for the league. He's a real threat. He's scoring goals, he's assisting, he looks strong and pacey, so he's a player that you have to be prepared for and on our guard for that, and that's something that we'll be looking at over the next coming days and how we deal with him.
Perfect, thanks for that.
Thank
you mentioned that Kieran obviously comes in with a bit of momentum behind him from the loan spell at Sacramento, but at nearly 25, do you feel as if he's ready to sort of find that permanent home to really kickstart his career?
Yeah, and I think I spoke to him yesterday, and that was one of the things that he said. He's had a lot of loan moves, so he now joins us. It's a home. He was really eager to come, and he's looking forward to. I had a good chat with him yesterday when he first arrived, and he's just really excited. He's excited about playing in a new league, a platform to him to show everyone what he's capable of doing. He didn't get that opportunity at Huddersfield, and he'll certainly get that here with us. Like I said, really looking forward to working with him.
You're saying he's quite mobile. He's also a big lad, isn't he?
Yeah, he's, like I said, profile's really good, physical, visually to look at, but his main strength is he wants to play on the last shoulder and get in behind teams. Ronan's similar in terms of, he's sharp and he looks to run in behind, but I definitely think with Kieran there's a bit more pace there. So like I say, it just sort of gives us a really good balance now in terms of the options that we have there.
There's also good news with Jordan Lewis signing the new deal as well. I mean, I guess when a player comes in out with the window, then you expect it might be quite difficult for them to settle in, but he seems to have made really, light work of it in the last few games.
Yeah, he's grabbed his opportunity really well. It's coincided with the results that we've had when he's played. I think he'd be the first to admit that in the 4 games, the way the group's defended in front of him and the work that's gone on, he's not actually had too much to do. But yeah, he's really embraced it. We spoke about him extending his deal, and it happened very quickly, which just shows how eager he is to stay with us. So delighted to get that sorted so early.
Have you been surprised by how well Jordan Thompson is coming in? Because he obviously was on the bench behind Jack for a little bit when he first came in, and he seems to have made the clubs his own.
Yeah, and he hasn't played a lot of senior football. But again, I'm repeating myself, but it just goes back to his first game against Dundee. In terms of what was in front of him, an excellent team performance, which meant that he was not exposed to too much, and it was a really good debut for him in terms of bedding into playing for us, playing in the league, and then it's just grown from there for him. So hoping he can continue what he's doing.
Talked a lot about incomings. Is there anything like that happening going out the way?
Yeah, there could be a knock-on effect in terms of players coming in and then players going the other way. Again, there's still another 3 weeks to go in the window. We'll see how that goes. We are, like I say, quite light in terms of fit bodies, so we'll just play that by ear and see how that plays out.
One last one, transfers. Are you in a situation, because you talked before about having a big squad and having to leave players out and match the squad when everybody's been fit, are you in a situation now where players would have to leave for you to bring anybody else in?
Well, I think in football, just the way it works is that when a group who's maybe not playing and then they see other players coming in, then they maybe think, well, where's my pathway to getting into the squad or the team? We're not actively, trying to get anyone in particular out of the club, but as I always say, if someone comes to me and says that he would like to go and get that opportunity to play first team football, I will not stand in their way, and I'll help them as much as I can for that to happen. So, like I said, those conversations are ongoing and they'll continue as the next couple of weeks go on.
You'd 7 out, did you, at the weekend, Don? How are you now, sort of overall, in terms of injuries and team news?
So Eli came back today.
Right.
Eli Campbell, he's back in full training, and Will Nightingale's back in full training as well. So them two come up back into it. Kieran obviously adds to the squad in terms of coming in. So we are looking a lot healthier than what we were going into the Kilmarnock game.
Don, 10 points clear at the bottom of the table at this stage of the season. That must be quite pleasing for you as a manager. So kind of early on in the season as well to have that much of a cushion already.
Yeah, but I think what's clear to see is how quickly that can change, because we were, I think, a point ahead of St Johnstone 2 weeks ago. So we're not going to get carried away. It's been a good period for us. The challenge now is how to continue that as a group. Set the standard, in terms of we've got rid of that hoodoo away from home, so there's real belief there. Now it's about getting back to winning games at home as well to add to that, because we always said about if we can improve our away form with a good strong home form, it gives you a real opportunity to do well in the league. And now it's about looking to combine that.
So the goals stayed the same then, even though maybe looking the other way, we are only 2 points off the top 6. But as far as you're concerned, it's just to kind of keep your nose to the ground, if you will.
Of course, I'm not naive enough to think anything other than that. We've finished 11th the last 2 seasons, so we're looking to improve in that. So anything above 11th is improvement. You can see it's really competitive, it's really tight within the league. I think St Mirren beat us just over 2 weeks ago and made a massive gap, and now we're 2 points behind them. So again, it all just comes back to how quickly things can change. But what we need to do is just focus on ourselves, and we've done that really well recently.
Yeah, the amount of fixtures the last couple of weeks could be tough on the legs, as you've seen with the injuries as well, but it's really given you that momentum going into the second half of the season when they are a wee bit more spaced out again.
Yeah, and I spoke leading into the period. We had a meeting about the group and the sacrifices that they need to make, and that festive period, New Year, in terms of game after game, and everyone else is enjoying Christmas and New Year, and we have to just put a pause in that and recognise this is our job and our livelihoods, and we need to be the best version ourselves. So whatever you need to do in that period to get yourself ready for it, and they've done that incredibly well. Now we go back to the bit of normality in terms of week to week, gives us a bit more time on the training pitch, but I would imagine right now the group are just desperate for a game again, because when you get that winning habit, it's a nice feeling, and you're just looking forward to that next game.
I never really got the impression heads have gone down, but is there a different atmosphere around the place now after the last few results?
It's the real positive, not just to the club but of the group of players. We recognise any result, we speak about it on a Monday after the game, but they're really good at putting it to one side straight after it if that's a defeat. Naturally, because of the run that we've been on recently, there is a real vibrant atmosphere, and I keep saying the challenge is to continue that.
You've spoken in the past on about squads evolving as the season goes on. Have you seen the squad that you've got in your own hands evolve over the last 10 or 11 days from that match at Dundee to Rugby Park on Sunday, just in the way that how they perform away from home and growing in confidence to see out these kind of games, whereas maybe at the start of the season they were kind of struggling to do it? Yeah,
and I think that there's been a big shift in the personnel as well, in that period of time, and I think especially the players that have came in the summer are in a really good moment. They're getting better and better. I think Noah Chilvers is a prime example of that. He's just playing with real confidence, and he's been a massive threat for us, and been a big part of scoring or assisting goals in that period. So he probably epitomises the confidence right now, but it's not just him. He recognises that we've created a game plan which is letting him play with a lot of freedom, but he gets that freedom because of the work that's going on behind, and that's been a big part of it.
And another summer acquisition in Josh Nisbet as well. I think it's safe to say he's had a lot of the Scottish weather kind of hit him over the past 10 or 11 days, with a mud bath here, a blizzard down at Pittodrie, but the way he's taken on his game as well the last kind of 10 or 11 days has been really impressive.
Yeah, and adding goals to it as well, which is huge, because we can't just rely on centre forwards scoring goals. It's been another real positive of the last couple of weeks. We've spread the goals out. They've been, both wing backs have scored. Akil scoring again, Noah getting the scoring boots, and Nizzy, and then Jordan's obviously had a couple as well. So we need it to come from all areas. We can't just accept that it'll just come from the front line, and because of that, we're looking a more, I would say, dangerous team, because I think we've got threats from a lot more areas in the pitch because there's real confidence and belief there.
And do you think that's been unlocked as well by, you spoke about like Kieran and Noah coming in as well as different profiles, that you do have those options where you can call upon a different player depending on the circumstances and the team you're coming up against to hurt an opposition, but also potentially nullify their threats too?
Yeah, you want as many options as you can, and that's what we're working on still, to have that. For instance, at the weekend, Ronan would have been really disappointed not to start, but for me, away to Kilmarnock, the physicality of them, the surface, straight away in my head, it's a Jordan White game all day long in terms of standing up to their set plays, long throws, etc. And it's about them as a group, recognising that as an individual, what you bring to the team, and being as good as you can for the team. And then Ronan then comes on and has a big effect in the lead up to the goal, and that's what we need. We need everyone chomping at the bit. We've had a real impact from the subs, especially at the Dundee game, and Jordan and Nizzy coming on, and we need to keep that going, and I keep stressing that to the group. Everyone's here for a reason. I believe in every player, so at any time you need to be ready to come on that pitch and make a big impact, and they're really doing that right now.
And the guys were asking about some potential outgoings. Obviously you've got a few loan players in just now. Have there been discussions with the parent clubs of the respective players as well, and how their development has been ongoing? And you obviously want to keep them here for the remainder of the season, like Casper, who's played a big part, Eli, who's obviously come back in this week as well to full training.
Yeah, we've had those discussions. I think the The parent clubs are really happy with how things going. You know, Casper one's sorted in terms of the end of the season. They're delighted with what he's done, just as I am. Eli the same. He stays here. Obviously, Aidan's gone back after the bad injury he picked up. But yeah, we're all on the same page in terms of they see this as the right club for them to continue their development.
And I think the rules are you can have a maximum of 6 loan players in the league. It's kind of a little bit difficult to make out, but because Jack and Eli are under 21 and homegrown players, do they count towards that cap of 6, or are they kind of out with that and you've still got space for a little bit of movement there?
I think we've still got space for one more.
Okay.
Is what we have. That's what I've been told anyway. So I
And
have to
just
keep, cap it at that.
and just finally as well, obviously the points tally over the last 11 days, you picked up more points than anyone else in the Premiership, and the quality of the goals that the team have been scoring as well. I think you must be very, very pleased, and you'll be wanting that to be a platform now to carry a bit of consistency and momentum into the rest of the season.
Yeah, but, no, I spoke to the boys after the game. I was really proud in terms of, it's no secret we were really unlucky with the fixture list over that period, to have 3 games away from home. The team that travels the furthest anyway in a normal away game, so to have 3 in such a short space of time, and it really galvanised the group in terms of, you could feel sorry for yourself because of that, but it had a real positive impact. We're in the hotel Christmas Day, things like that, and players can look at that as, I'd rather be at home with their families, which I'm sure they would be, and sort of mope about, but it really gave the sort of grit between the teeth for the group to go and make the most of this and almost show everyone, in terms of, like I said, Celtic, was it 10, 11 miles I believe, travelled in that period of time, so to come out as the way we have, the results, the manner of the performances, the goals, like you say, the quality of them, I thought it was I probably didn't realise at the time how good a goal it was against Kilmarnock, the movement and the passes that were made in it, so just delighted with everyone, but as I keep stressing, it's now about building on that and maintaining it as we go along.
We've talked a lot about the away form and what's going on the last couple of weeks. Do you almost feel vindicated in what you've been doing the first half of the season by these results the last 3 or 4 games?
No, I think what it is I'm learning. I've still got loads to learn as a manager. We had maybe a set way to play, which I felt suited our group of players. We've adapted that slightly. I think we've seen real shoots of growth in the Hibs game away. First half it was our best away performance, I felt, and we came away with nothing, but we saw a lot of positives in that, and we've sort of stuck to that, and it's really come to the fore in the 3 games after it. So yeah, it's nice, but I'm not going to get carried away by it. I want to keep improving, and I want to keep striving to get better and pushing up the league, because I think it's clear to see that we needed to improve the results because everyone else around us is also picking up lots of points. So it's been an important period of time.